In the heart of a universe, on the brink of collapse, a single moment changes everything. The Infinity Stones, once scattered, once fought over by titans and tyrants, suddenly drawn toward one man. Not by chance, not by chaos, but by destiny. As the skies over Wakanda crack with cosmic light, T'Challa realizes something impossible. The stones are choosing him. And with each one that falls into his hands, the line between king and God grows dangerously thin. What happens when the most honorable ruler in the world gains the power to remake existence itself, and must decide who deserves salvation, and who deserves to be erased? It began on a night when Wakanda should have been celebrating. The golden city glowed with lanterns, music carried through the vibranium towers, and families danced in the streets in honor of the nation's Liberation Day. T'Challa walked among his people without the mask of kingship, wearing only a simple cloak, greeting children who ran to him with laughter. He smiled, something genuine, something warm, but beneath that warmth lingered a shadow he could not shake. The universe had been too quiet lately. Since the fall of Thanos and the restoration of half of all life, T'Challa had watched the balance of power shift in ways that made him uneasy. Old threats whispered from the darkness. New ones tested boundaries. And beyond what even the Dora Milaje knew, fissures in space were forming, hairline cracks that leaked energy unlike anything Wakanda had catalogued. It was as if reality was straining, groaning, warning. He felt it even now, in the middle of Celebration 9, invisible tremor in the air. He turned his head slightly, listening, sensing, waiting. Then it happened. A violent bolt of energy tore across the sky like a ripping cloth, painting the heavens in blinding purple. The music stopped. The drums fell silent. Children screamed. And for the first time in many years, the people of Wakanda looked up with fear. The crack widened, its edges sizzling with cosmic fire. Out of it burst three shapes, small, glowing, spinning. T'Challa's eyes widened as he recognized the impossible. The Space Stone, the Mind Stone, and the Reality Stone. Tumbling through the air like falling stars, heading straight toward the vibranium mound, he ran. The Dora Milaje fell into formation without a word, Okoye sprinting at his side, shouting orders. The ground shook with each pulse of cosmic power. T'Challa leapt, landing on the mound's terrace as the three stones hovered inches above the vibranium surface. He spun faster, as if analyzing him, measuring him, choosing him. But that wasn't possible. Your Majesty, what are they doing? Okoye whispered. T'Challa took a slow step closer. I do not know, he answered, voice low, but they are not attacking. Instead, the stones aligned themselves in front of him, forming a triangle of light. The moment he reached out, the vibranium beneath his feet responded, humming, resonating, calling to the cosmic artifacts as if recognizing them. And the moment his fingers brushed the first stone, his mind shattered. He saw everything. Universes collapsing in distant corners of reality. Multiverses devouring one another like cosmic beasts. Endless timelines spiraling into chaos. He saw threats greater than Thanos, greater than Ultron, greater than any war the Avengers had fought. He saw a future where existence itself buckled under the weight of powers beyond comprehension. But he also saw something else himself. Not a king, not a warrior. A being crowned in cosmic fire, draped in starlight, holding the Infinity Stones with a calm, unwavering hand. A being the universe called the Infinity King. He staggered back as the vision faded. Sweat dripped from his brow. His pulse thundered in his ears. Your Majesty, Okoye shouted, catching him. He forced himself upright, using all the discipline he possessed. But inside, a storm raged. Why him? Why now? And what did it mean that the stones had abandoned their hiding places and every defense the cosmos had built to seek him out? He spent the next hours in the war room, surrounded by holograms of energy signatures and cosmic timelines, speaking with Shuri, Okoye, and the leading scientists of Wakanda. None could explain the phenomenon. Not fully. But Shuri saw something he hadn't. You said they showed you the future, she said, pacing rapidly. Not a possible future, a certain one. That means the stones weren't offering power, T'Challa. They were offering responsibility. That is not a gift, Shuri. It is a curse, perhaps, but maybe one the universe needs you to bear. He turned away. The weight of destiny had never frightened him before. But this was something different. This was the kind of power capable of burning the soul of any who touched it. Even someone noble, even someone righteous. His sleep was restless that night, but the universe had no patience for hesitation. At dawn, another crack tore open across the sky, larger this time, wider, jagged like a wound, and from its core exploded two more stones, the Power Stone and the Time Stone, screeching through the air like meteors. T'Challa didn't choose them, they chose him. He caught the Power Stone using vibranium gauntlets Shuri threw onto his arms at the last second. The moment it touched him, a surge of raw destruction threatened to tear him apart from the inside. But something buried deep in his spirit absorbed it, controlled it. The Time Stone hovered inches from his chest, then gently pressed itself into his palm, flooding his mind with visions of past and future merging into a single thread. But Dora Milaje knelt without being commanded. Okoye whispered, "My king, this is no longer coincidence." T'Challa closed his fingers around the stones, feeling the pulse of fate tighten around him like a collar. 5 stones, 1 king, but they were incomplete. Only one remained, the Soul Stone, and with it, the full, terrifying power to close the cosmic rifts, or reshape reality itself. That night, as he stood on the cliff, overlooking the ancestral plains, a familiar presence materialized behind him. "Son of Chaka," he turned. The spirit of his father glowed softly in the moonlight, his form flickering like a dream. "Baba, you see what is happening?" His father nodded slowly. "The universe is calling out for a protector beyond mortal limits, a guardian who can wield power without surrendering to its corruption." T'Challa swallowed hard. "And you believe that guardian is me?" "I do not know," his father answered honestly, "but the stones believe so. And the universe rarely makes mistakes." T'Challa looked up at the sky, where cracks shimmered like broken glass. "What if I fail? What if the power changes me?" His father placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then you must remember who you are, not as a king, not as a warrior, but as a man. Your heart has always been your greatest strength." The vision faded, but the weight remained. And before the sun rose, T'Challa knew what he had to do. He would find the Soul Stone, and he would face whatever destiny awaited him. The journey to find the Soul Stone began not with intelligence reports or cosmic readings, but with silence, the kind that settles deep in a king's bones. T'Challa meditated in the sacred gardens before dawn, listening to the whisper of the wind through the ancestral trees, listening for something beyond the world he knew. For hours, nothing came. But then, as the first sliver of sunlight touched the horizon, he heard it. A heartbeat. Not his own. Not human. A slow, thunderous pulse, echoing through the spiritual plane, as if the stone itself were calling to him. He stood at once, knowing that it wasn't a location he'd sensed, but a summoning. By midday, his transport was crossing the boundary of Wakanda, gliding over the wild sands of Africa toward the place where life and death touched most closely. Okoye insisted on accompanying him, but he denied her gently. "Where I go," he said, "only I can walk." She bowed, though tension flickered across her face. "Then return, my king. Wakanda will not lose another panther." He placed a hand on her shoulder, an unspoken promise, then stepped into the desert alone. The wind swallowed his footprints almost instantly. With each step, the pulse grew louder, echoing through the ground beneath him, guiding him like an unseen thread. Hours passed, the heat rising, the air trembling. By nightfall he reached a canyon carved into the earth like a wound, its depths radiating a faint orange glow. He felt the presence immediately, not welcoming, not hostile, simply waiting. T'Challa descended into the canyon until the light became blinding, and there, standing at the edge of a circular pool of fire, was a figure he thought he would never see again. Only he wasn't flesh and blood, he shimmered like a spirit. Like something caught between worlds, eyes burning with knowledge and sorrow in equal measure. "So," Killmonger said softly, "the universe finally came knocking on your door." T'Challa froze. You should not be here." Killmonger smirked. "Neither should you. But the Soul Stone doesn't care who you were. It cares who you are. And it's been waiting for you, cousin." The canyon trembled. The pool of fire brightened. The stone was close, impossibly close. "Why are you the one guarding it?" T'Challa asks. Killmonger looked away, his face flickering with something almost human. "Because when I died, my soul wasn't at peace. The stone saw that. It bound itself to me. A sentence I earned, maybe. A burden I didn't choose." T'Challa stepped closer. "I do not seek domination. I seek to stop the destruction tearing the universe apart. I know, Killmonger said quietly, and that's why you scare the stone more than any tyrant ever did. The ground cracked beneath them, sending fire spiraling upward. T'Challa stood firm, but Killmonger didn't flinch. You don't understand, T'Challa, he continued. The stones chose you because they think you're strong enough to resist them. But every soul has a breaking point, and when you break, you won't become a conqueror. He stepped close enough for his face to blur with the flames. You'll become a savior, willing to burn the world to save it. T'Challa's jaw tightened. I do not believe that. You will. The fire swirled violently, spiraling into a vortex that revealed the Soul Stone rising from the center, like a dying sun. Its glow pierced T'Challa's chest, showing him flashes faces of the living and the dead, souls waiting to be judged. Killmonger extended a hand. Take it, cousin. But no. This when you do, the stone will demand something from you. A sacrifice, and you won't escape it. T'Challa reached out. The heat scorched his palm. The stone pulsed like a living heart, tightening around him like a fist. And then he was somewhere else. A vast field of white sand, endless, silent, empty. A lone figure sat beneath a dead tree. T'Challa walked forward slowly, and froze Ramonda, his mother. She looked up with a tender smile, the kind she once gave him when he was a child hiding behind her robes. My son, she whispered. Emotion stabbed through his chest as he knelt beside her. Mother, am I dreaming? No. This is the realm of the Soul Stone. To claim it, one must make peace with what they've lost, or give up something they still hold dear. He felt tears sting his eyes. I do not want to lose anything else. That is not for you to decide, she answered gently. But no, this destiny is not a chain. It is a path. You choose how you walk it. She placed her hand over his heart, and you will walk it with courage. The realm shattered. T'Challa gasped as he returned to the canyon, knees buckling as the Soul Stone settled into his palm. Killmonger watched him with an expression that hovered between respect and grief. You passed, he said. Doesn't mean you're ready. T'Challa stood, breathing hard but steady. I am ready for what must be done. Killmonger nodded slowly. Then remember one thing. Cousin power doesn't corrupt the righteous. It tempts them to believe righteousness gives them permission to do anything. The canyon exploded with light, and when it faded, Killmonger was gone. T'Challa emerged from the desert with all 6 Infinity Stones embedded in a vibranium gauntlet Shuri had crafted for him. But when he stepped back into Wakanda, he realized the universe hadn't slowed. The skies shimmered with cracks. The stars flickered like dying embers. And in the distance, something massive moved behind the fabric of reality. Something ancient, hungry, and aware of him. The Infinity King was being born. The moment T'Challa returned to Wakanda, the world felt different, quieter, heavier, as though the very air recognized what he now carried. These 6 stones pulsed along his arm like a living heartbeat, syncing with his own. Each breath tasted of cosmic fire. Each step hummed with the weight of galaxies. But there was no triumph in him, only purpose and dread. Shuri was the first to meet him. Her face slid up in relief, but when she saw the gauntlet, her smile faded into awe and fear. You did it, she whispered. All 6 stones. T'Challa nodded, but there is no time for celebration. The universe weakens by the hour. Something stirs behind the rifts. Shuri flicked her fingers over the holographic console, displaying cosmic readings that bent and twisted like broken code. The cracks are accelerating. They aren't random, they're converging. Someone or something is pulling the multiverse into a single point. And whatever it is, T'Challa said quietly, it knows I hold the stones. As if in answer, the sky above Wakanda thundered with a cosmic groan, and a tear ripped open, bigger than any before. Out of it came a voice, fast, ancient, echoing across the planet. Bearer of infinity, we see you. Okoye drew her spear instantly. The Dora Milaje rushed onto the palace balconies. Citizens fled into shelters as celestial winds whipped through the city. T'Challa stood unshaken. Show yourself, he commanded. For a moment, nothing. Then the crack widened, and a colossal silhouette moved on the other side, shaped like a giant, its eyes burning like twin stars, its form rippling with cosmic threads. Every legend across millennia whispered the same name, Eternity, a cosmic being who embodied the entire universe. When it spoke again, its tone shook the atmosphere. The balance collapses, timelines converge. Reality, phrase, the stones have acted on their own. choosing a mortal Shuri, touched T'Challa's arm. This isn't good. T'Challa of Wakanda, eternity continued. You were chosen not for your strength, but for your restraint. But the burden you hold is too great for any single being. Already the stones bend your fate. Soon they will command it. T'Challa stepped forward, refusing to bow, even before a cosmic entity. Then why allow this? Why show me visions? Why guide the stones to me? Eternity's glowing eyes dimmed. Because something older than us awakens. The wind died. The world stilled. Even the stones paused. A devourer of realities, eternity said. A force lost before the first star was born. It stirs now, drawn to the power you carry. If it rises, it will consume every universe to sustain itself. T'Challa felt a cold chill cut through him. Then I will stop it. Eternity shook its cosmic head. Even as Infinity King, he cannot kill what predates existence. The rift snapped shut, leaving silence in its wake. But not peace. Shuri paced rapidly. If even eternity fears this thing, then we prepare, T'Challa said firmly. Wakanda must be shielded. The world must be warned. But before he could finish, the stones pulsed violently, glowing brighter than ever. A surge of energy erupted through the gauntlet, blasting cosmic threads through the air. Okoye raised her shield. Your Majesty, I am fine, he said through clenched teeth. But he wasn't. The stones weren't just reacting, they were resisting. Shuri scanned the readings, eyes widening. Brother, the stones are trying to merge with you. They're syncing directly with your life force. If they complete this process, you won't need the gauntlet at all. A vibration rippled through his bones. His skin shimmered like stardust for a moment, before stabilizing. Okoye whispered, he is becoming something else. T'Challa tried to breathe, but the universe pressed inside him like a storm. I will not surrender myself, he growled. I will wield the power, not be consumed by it. But the stones had their own will. That night, T'Challa withdrew from the city, climbing to the highest cliff, overlooking the ancestral plains. He needed clarity, needed space to think without the stones clouding his judgment. The wind rustled through the grass. The stars flickered overhead. What am I becoming? He murmured. You already know. He spun. A woman stood beside him, a silhouette of blue-black cosmic energy, hair flowing like nebula smoke, eyes glowing with distant galaxies. He recognized her instantly. Lady Death, one of the oldest cosmic beings in existence. You walk the edge between mortal and eternal, she said softly. The stones shape you because they fear the devourer cannot be stopped by anything that is merely flesh. T'Challa swallowed. If I let the stones change me, I lose myself. Not if your heart remains your anchor, she whispered. But be warned, the more you resist, the more they will push. They do not want a king. She stepped closer, placing a cold hand over the gauntlet. They want a god. T'Challa pulled away sharply, furious. I am a protector, a servant of my people. I will not be remade into something divine. Death smiled sadly. Then prepare your soul. The devourer is near. The ground trembled beneath their feet. A pulsation monstrous echoed across the horizon. T'Challa turned toward it, and for the first time, he saw the outline of something approaching from the cracks in reality, vast wings of darkness. Eyes like collapsed stars. A shape too large, too terrible to comprehend. Death whispered the name no universe had spoken aloud for eons. Morkali, the first Stariter. T'Challa clenched his fist as the stones blazed with power. The final war had begun. The first tremor hit Wakanda, like a heartbeat from a dying star. Birds scattered into the blackened sky. The ground split in thin glowing fissures, and every vibranium sensor across the nation screamed with warnings Shuri had never seen before. Even from the palace terrace, T'Challa could feel the universe bowing under the weight of something colossal pushing through reality. Morkali, the first Star Eater, before life, before galaxies, before even eternity rose from the darkness, there had been Morkali, a creature born from the hunger of the void itself. A being so ancient that it fed not on planets, but on the very concept of existence. And now, drawn by the Infinity Stones, it was coming straight for Wakanda. T'Challa stood before the Golden City as the skies tore open. The cosmic cracks converged into a single vortex of swirling purple and black, spiraling like an inverted supernova. Dora Milaje battalions stood ready. Vibranium cannons hummed to life. Shuri ran diagnostics, her voice tight but steady. energy readings, rising rapidly. Brother, its mass isn't measurable. It's not even matter, it's absence. Okoye spat. We are preparing to fight a void. Wonderful. T'Challa stepped forward, raising the gauntlet. The stones blazed with colors that lit the entire city. I will face it, he said. Shuri grabbed his arm. You don't have to do this alone. He looked into her eyes. I must. Wakanda is my responsibility. But the universe has become my burden. A thunderous crack split the sky, and Mokali emerged. His body was a sweeping, skeletal titan composed of cosmic dust and shadow. Its wings stretched wider than countenance. Its face was a swirling pit of collapsed stars. Its voice a chorus of hollow echoes, bearer of infinity. Wakanda trembled. You hold the final light. T'Challa spoke with the calm of a king and the resolve of a god. I will not allow you to consume this universe. Mokali's laughter was a storm of darkness. You misunderstand. I do not consume. I restore. Reality is fractured. The multiverse collapses. Life grows unchecked. You cling to a broken creation. I cleanse it. Its wings unfurled, each beat shaking space itself. Give me the stones, and existence will end swiftly. T'Challa stepped forward, claws extended, the gauntlet glowing brighter. If you want them, come take them. The beast lunged. A tidal wave of cosmic force blasted through Wakanda. Shields shattered. Buildings toppled. The Dora braced themselves as T'Challa shot upward, streaking with rainbow light, colliding with Mokali head-on. The impact detonated the air. Power Stone flaring, he struck the creature's skull with a blow that echoed across dimensions. Mokali reeled, but did not fall. More to courage, it boomed. Futile. Its wings swept forward, unleashing a void wind that tore at T'Challa's very essence. He screamed as pieces of his spirit were stripped away, but the Soul Stone blazed, anchoring him with the strength of every ancestor who had ever lived. Ramonda, Chokabashanga, all whispering. Stand. T'Challa roared and blasted Mokali with the combined fury of space and reality. Warping gravitational fields, bending cosmic matter, shredding the air with collapsing space, but the monster simply absorbed it. We cannot destroy hunger, Mokali whispered. The beast wrapped a claw of shadow around T'Challa, crushing him. Bones cracked, blood spilled. The gauntlet flickered. Shuri screamed from the palace. T'Challa, he felt himself slipping, fading, until he remembered something Killmonger had said. Power doesn't corrupt the righteous. It tempts them to believe righteousness gives them permission to do anything. T'Challa exhaled, and made a choice. He stopped fighting the stones. He let them merge. The gauntlet dissolved into streams of light that wrapped around him like burning silk. His body expanded with cosmic fire, veins glowing with the colors of infinity. His eyes ignited with starlight. His heartbeat synced with the universe itself. And when the transformation stopped, T'Challa was no longer merely king. He was something higher, something infinite. The Infinity King. He tore free from Mokali's grip with a force that split mountains. With one motion of his hand, he froze the monster mid-lunge. With another, he forced the air to shape words. You are ancient, T'Challa said. His voice carried across the world. But so is hope. Mokali thrashed. You cannot destroy me. No, T'Challa said. I will not destroy you. I will transform you. He pressed the Soul Stone's power into the void creature, rewriting its essence. The Reality Stone reshaped its form. The Mind Stone calmed its devouring instinct. The Time Stone rewound its cycle of eternal hunger. The Power Stone anchored its new existence. The Space Stone cast it into a dimension where it could cause no harm. The light swallowed Mokali whole. When the explosion faded, nothing remained but silence, and T'Challa collapsed to one knee, exhausted, dimming, fading. Shuri and Okoye ran to him as he looked up at the sky now whole, healed, shimmering with steady stars. The cracks, Shuri whispered. They are gone, all of them. T'Challa nodded weakly. The universe is saved. Okoye frowned. Then why do you look like you are dying? T'Challa smiled softly. Because nothing is without cost. These stones flared one final surge. Shuri screamed as T'Challa's body dissolved into stardust, rising into the sky, scattering across the cosmos like a new constellation. His voice echoed through their minds. I am not gone. I am with you. I am with the universe. And the universe is safe. The cosmos shimmered, and the Infinity King ascended beyond all boundaries of life and death. Across ages, stories were told of a king who rose above destiny, who wielded infinite power, not to dominate, but to protect. A king who refused to let fear shape him, who chose sacrifice over divinity, honor over desire, humanity over godhood. T'Challa, Infinity King, the protector of realities, the eternal guardian of life. And in every corner of the universe where darkness threatened to rise again, starlight flickered in the shape of a panther's eyes, watching, waiting, promising that even in infinity, Wakanda would forever stand, forever.